You know, an AOS diagnosis can feel like you've been dropped into a whole new world without a map. It's confusing, it's overwhelming, and that's why we're here. In this explainer, we're going to give you that map, a really clear, step-by-step guide to help you navigate the legal and financial journey ahead. So, let's get right into it. Okay, first things first, we have to get the important legal stuff out of the way. Just remember, this is all for your general education. It is absolutely not a substitute for real legal advice. Everyone's situation is unique, so please talk to a qualified attorney who can give you guidance that's tailored just for you. An ALS diagnosis just opens up a floodgate of questions, right? On top of all the medical information and emotional challenges, you're left thinking, where do I even start? And that feeling is completely normal. The whole point of this roadmap is to give you that starting point, to give you a clear path forward. So our first stop is all about the immediate stuff, the practical things. We're talking about securing your financial stability and really understanding your rights at work. These are the foundational steps that can give you a much-needed sense of security when everything else feels so uncertain. The first tool we're going to put in your financial toolkit is Social Security Disability Insurance, or SSDI. Basically, if you've been working and paying into Social Security, this program is there to provide you with a steady monthly income when the disability, like ALS, means you can't work anymore. It is a critical safety net. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There's something called a Compassionate Allowance. This is basically a fast track. See, the Social Security Administration knows how aggressive ALS is, so they push these applications to the front of the line. What does that mean for you? It means instead of waiting for months or even years, you can get approved in just a few weeks. It's a huge advantage. So what does that actually look like in your bank account? Well, it depends on how much you've worked in the past, but typical monthly SSDI payments are going to fall somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000. For many families, that income is an absolute lifeline for covering day-to-day expenses. Now, what if you're still working? It is so important to know your rights under the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA. This law says that most employers have to provide what's called reasonable accommodations. Think things like a different schedule, better equipment for your desk, maybe even working from home. It also protects you from being fired unfairly, which lets you keep that income and your benefits for as long as possible. All right, so we've talked about finances. Let's switch gears and tackle the other huge concern, how to access and actually pay for all the healthcare you're going to need. Okay, this next part is a really big deal. For most people who get on SSDI, there's a 2-year waiting period before Medicare kicks in. 2 years! But, and this is huge, for anyone with an ALS diagnosis, that waiting period is completely waived. This is a total game changer. It means you get access to that health coverage right away, exactly when you need it most. And that immediate Medicare access is so impactful, especially when you start looking at the cost of prescriptions. As of 2025, Medicare Part D will actually cap what you have to pay out of pocket for drugs at $2,000 a year. When you're talking about ALS medications that can cost tens of thousands, this cap provides incredible financial protection. So Medicare is fantastic for your doctors, for hospital stays, for prescriptions, but it has a blind spot. It generally doesn't cover the kind of extensive, long-term care that many people with ALS eventually need, like having someone help you around the clock at home. So what bridges that gap? And that's where Medicaid comes into the picture. Let's just break this down. Think of Medicare and Medicaid as a team. They have different jobs. Medicare is covering your immediate medical stuff, the doctors, the hospital bills, the prescriptions. But look at Medicaid. Its job is to cover long-term care, the home health stuff. It's designed for people with limited income and assets. And for a lot of families, figuring out how to qualify for Medicaid is a really critical piece of the puzzle. All right, we've handled the immediate needs. Now I want to shift our focus to planning for the future. And listen, this part isn't about the illness. This is about empowerment. This is about making sure that your voice is heard and your wishes are followed no matter what happens down the road. The official name for all this is Advanced Care Planning, but all it really is the simple but really profound process of making your wishes known ahead of time. It's truly a gift, not just for you, but for your loved ones, because it gives everybody clarity and peace of mind. Okay, 2 of the most important tools you have here are powers of attorney. And it is so important to know that there are 2 different kinds. You've got a financial POA, that's who you pick to handle your money, pay bills, that sort of thing. Then you have a healthcare POA, that's who you trust to make medical decisions for you. You really need to have both. And you might be asking, why is this so critical? Well, here's why. The alternative is a court-appointed guardianship. And trust me, you don't want that. It's a slow, expensive legal mess that literally takes control away from you and your family and gives it to a judge. Setting up your POAs now helps you avoid all of that.
And to make sure your voice is heard, there are 2 other key documents. A living will gets really specific about your preferences for end-of-life medical care, like life support. And then, of course, a last will and testament is what makes sure all of your property and assets go to exactly who you want them to go to when you're gone.
Trusts are another really powerful tool. A living trust is mainly about helping your estate avoid probate court, which can be a long and expensive public process. But for planning with ALS, the Special Needs Trust is incredibly important. It lets your family set aside money for you without that money counting against you and disqualifying you from important benefits like Medicaid.
Okay, in our last section, let's just quickly look at a few special situations, some key tools and protections that can add another really important layer to your roadmap. If you're a veteran, listen up. There are significant benefits available through the VA for veterans diagnosed with ALS. We're talking a 100% disability rating, which means big monthly compensation, plus grants to help make your home more accessible and really important survivor benefits for your spouse. If you served, this is an avenue you have to explore. Now, here's a financial option you may have never heard of. It's called a viantical settlement. This lets a person with a terminal illness sell their life insurance policy for an immediate lump sum of cash. Now, it's less than the full death benefit, but it can be a way to get your hands on a lot of money for care or other expenses right when you need it the most.
So let's tie this all together. What are the big things you need to walk away with? First, plan early. Don't wait for a crisis to start making these huge decisions. Second, know your benefits. Get to know SSDI, Medicare, and those VA options inside and out. Third, build your team. You do not have to do this alone. And finally, and this is the most important one, remember that all of these tools are about one thing: taking control and giving yourself peace of mind.
You know, following any roadmap begins with just one step. So after everything we've talked about today, from applying for benefits to thinking about a will, what is one single thing you can do today to start this journey and secure your own peace of mind?